Hi and welcome to the MapMagic Biomes tutorial. In this video, as well as the next one devoted to the functions, I will show the basic things about the subgraphs, the nodes that can have the other graph assigned. Biome nodes allow mixing several graphs together, creating smooth transitions between them. This way, you can make a green forest that is gradually changes with the desert at the south and with tundra at the north. And you don't need to keep it all in one graph. Instead, you can use three self-sustaining and independent graphs: the forest, desert, and the tundra, and one parent graph that determines where each biome should be used. The biomes feature, as well as the graphs shown in this video, come with the biomes module for the MapMagic. You can find the scene you see in a demo folder. It is named Tutorial Biomes. Its graph is named Biomes in the Demo Graph folder, but now I'm going to create it from scratch. I will create a new empty graph and name it Biomes. Then I'll drag it to the scene to create a MapMagic object. You can see it generates the first empty initial terrain. Now let's see what biomes we've got to blend. You can find them in a Demo Graphs folder. First on the list is a Badlands biome. I will apply it to the MapMagic object by dragging it into a graph slot. The second one is the Simple graph. It is the one that comes with the core package. I will use it for moderate areas. And the third is Snow Plains graph. I'm going to mix these biomes from the south to the north, starting with the Badlands and ending with the snow. Note that these biomes have more or less similar relief. If there is a mountain on one of them, there is a mountain in the others. This is achieved by using the same base noise node, with the same seed, offset and size. The biome similarity is not mandatory, but will help you to create better biome blending. So, I'm returning my biomes graph back to the MapMagic's graph slot. You can see no change, since biomes graph doesn't have any outputs and thus generates no result. Then I'm pinning some new tiles to the north. I'll open up the MapMagic graph and dock it here. Now I'm adding a gradient from the south to the north. It will be a simple form node with a type gradient. And since this gradient will be stretched along the z-axis, it would be a gradient z. This gradient will be used to smoothly change the biomes from the south to the north. Now I'll add a temporary height output. It's not mandatory, but it's a convenient way to stretch the gradient across the several terrains. It's kind of preview, except it's not a single terrain. I will set the wrap mode to clump to avoid terrain repeating itself. Then I span the gradient across all of the tiles. Here we've got 4 tiles, so I'll set the scale to 4. However, we need 2 gradients for our biomes. One will be a transition from Badlands to moderate, and the other one from moderate to Snow Plains. We can either make 2 simple form nodes, or make 2 gradients of this one. I'm choosing the second way, and now going to make 2 short gradients out of this long one. I will be using the levels node for this. I am inserting the levels between the gradient and the height output, and adjust its values so that this gradient is placed where the biome's transition will be. It might be a bit unclear for now what these levels generators do, so I'm going to say a couple of words about them a bit later. Now it's time to get rid of our temporary height output and create the biomes set instead. I will assign the first Badlands graph into the biome set graph slot. Biome set works similarly to the textures output node. It has layers, and this layer is a background, so it fills everything with the sandy biome. Note that, similarly to the textures output, the background layer doesn't have an input. Now I'm adding a new layer, assigning a simple graph here, and connecting it to our first levels node. Here you can see it created a transition between the simple graph and the Badlands, at the place where we've set the first gradient. At the one side we've got the moderate biome, and on the other, the sandy one. However, I suppose the Badlands to be on the left, so I changed the layers order. Here, the Badlands is on the left, the simple graph is on the right. Now I'll add one more biome layer, the snow plains. I'm doing the same, adding the layer, assigning the graph, and linking it to the second layer's node. Oh, we have freezed it all out, and nearly made a snowball earth. So I'm going to change the layers order again. The snow now became the dominated layer, so I'm sending it to the background. And connect the previous background, the simple graph, to the levels node, where the snow plains was linked. Now this is fine. By the way, you can quickly access this biome graph by clicking this button. And here we are inside the Badlands graph. Here are the Badlands textures. If we have entered the subgraph this way, we can leave it and return to the parent graph with this button. And here is the biomes tree, the list of all the biomes within the parent graph. We can use it to quickly switch between the biomes. Now a couple of words about what these levels generators really do. I'll switch their positions to avoid links crossing. Then I will return the gradient scale back to 1, just to make the gradient stretch over one tile only. Here this tile is. Let's look into the levels preview. Here all of the black area is unchanged, and thus applies the background snow plains biome. And the white area is where the linked layer is applied. That is the simple graph. And the same for the second levels node. The black pixels are the unchanged area, where the previous layers, the snow plains plus the simple graph, are assigned. And the white is this layer's mask. That applies to Badlands only. Now I'll return the gradient scale back. Now I'd like you to take a look at the transition between the biomes. It looks okay, but a bit uniform. I'd like to make this straight transition line a bit curvy. I think I'll add some noise to it. So I'm adding a noise node. We don't need it to be a fractal, so I set the detail to 0. Now we've got to mix it somehow with the first layer mask. If we are going to mix anything, then we've got to use the blend node. Now it generates an odd picture because we're currently in the add mode. Overlay mode is the one that will blend these two maps properly. Now it's slightly visible that the transition between the biomes is not straight. I'll make it more contrast. Here we can try adjusting the noise side. Then I think it's better to lower the contrast, about twice. You can see that the gradient fall-off is too visible at the start and at the end. I'll smooth it a bit with the curve node. And then fine-tune a contrast a bit. And then I'll make the same with the other transition. Add blend node. Link it to the same noise generator. Switch it to overlay. And add some contrast. Here's what we finally got. Badlands on the one side, snow plains on the other, and a moderate biome in between. So this is the way the biomes work. It's a powerful tool to diversify and enhance your world. From several graphs, it creates one complex and various terrain. In the next video, I'm going to show the other subgraph node, the function. It is the biome that has its inlets and outlets. See you on next video. Bye!